Live. Okay, hello everyone. Welcome to my first ever YouTube AFL live quiz. I've done one on the Facebook page and it was actually quite good fun. So hopefully for anybody joining will enjoy this as well. We've got, let me see if I try to show you the page. We've got 13 questions, unlucky 13 for some maybe. 13 questions anyway, AFL related or Aussie rules related. So get your thinking caps on. And as I've said on Facebook, no using Google, no cheating, please. Because there's no fun in that. So let's see, question number one, because I know this will be watched back anyway, so it doesn't really matter if people join it late. You'll be able to kind of take part in the quiz later on in the stream, if you know what I mean. Okay, question number one then. How many career goals did Tony Lockett score? How many career goals did Tony Plugger Lockett score? That's question number one. Okay. You can either write it down with a bit of paper and a pen, your answer to each question, or you can throw it up. It's hard, that doesn't really matter. There's Cardman with an answer straight away, rapid, very, very confident in that answer. Hello, everyone that's joining. So the first question then, if you've just joined the stream slightly late from the first question, we're only on the first question, so I'll repeat it again. How many career goals did Tony Lockett score? That's how many career goals did Tony Plugger Lockett score? What's a Kahoot? Kahoot AFL quiz. I'm not too sure what that is. You'll have to help me out there. We're doing a live AFL quiz, Hamish. So if you've got a notepad or pen, or if you're just happy to shout out the answer on the... I'm not sure what Kahoot is, mate. Somebody's going to have to tell me what Kahoot is. I have no idea. Maybe I should know. Apologies for that. I actually don't. So if somebody can explain what Kahoot is, I could certainly look into it. So Hamish, yeah, we're doing a live AFL quiz. If you want to throw your answer out, that's perfect. No using of Google, please. It ruins it. Just for a bit of fun, this quiz. If you know the answer, shout it out or write it down on a bit of paper and tell me how many you got right. You pick a topic on Kahoot website for quizzes. All right, I see what you mean now. Thanks very much. I'll have to look into that. I never knew that even existed. Doesn't surprise me that it does exist, but I just never knew it did. So it's definitely something that I could look into again down the line. I think this makes perfect sense for me doing it here because the channel is quite established with an AFL kind of support. So that's pretty good. Brilliant. Thanks very much for letting me know what that is. Doing school all the time. Perfect. Thanks very much, everyone, for that, for the quiz suggestion with Kahoot. Certainly something I can look into and see how I can go about doing it and try and fit in a relevant time for everyone to join in, because the more people taking part in the quiz, the better the fun that it'll become. So the first question was, how many career goals did Tony Lockett score? All right, we'll give the answers at the very end. Number two, what player scored the most goals in one game? What player scored the most goals in one game? Remember, no Google, please. No Google. It's just cheating. So we've got a couple of answers coming up. I will reveal the answers at the very end for everybody who's just joining, who doesn't know what's happening here. All right. So the second question was, what player scored the most goals in one game? If you could tell me how many he scored, that would be fantastic as well. That's all right. Question number three then. Name the top 5 clubs in order of most memberships. So that's the top 5 clubs in order of most memberships from 1 to 5. The top 5 clubs, and this isn't going from the year 2020 because memberships are still on sale, so it's pretty difficult to say if anybody's going to jump, any club's going to jump over the other. So this is for 2019, season 2019. The top 5 clubs from order of most memberships, 1 to 5, 1 being the top club. All right. Name top 5 clubs in order of most memberships in 2019. A lot of people coming out Richmond, so they're pretty confident that Richmond sold the most memberships of 2019, but slightly more difficult after that for people who are struggling to get the answers in. 2020 numbers have changed dramatically, but the reason why I couldn't do it for 2020 was the numbers aren't finished yet, and of course the uncertainty right now whether or not we're going to even get games going ahead at all. So I certainly think the numbers in terms of membership sales will slow down or even stop very, very shortly, given the current situation. So this is for 2019. Okay. Question number 4. All right. There's some answers there. Just looking over them. I know I've got the answers up down here. I'm just seeing what you are coming up with here. All right. So question number 4. Who was the captain of the Brisbane Lions three-peat seasons? So when the Brisbane Lions won 3 flags back-to-back consecutively, who was the captain? I'll repeat the question. Who was the captain of the Brisbane Lions three-peat flags? A lot of people confidently, boom, 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 boom. Don't know if you're Lions fans or you just know the answer, but that came out pretty damn quickly there. Not one person having a different answer, which says to me you're all pretty confident with that one. So because of your confidence, I won't waste any time. I know it's too easy. I've never said they're going to be hard or easy. Some people might not know. It's only easy because you know the answer. What club, right? This is where it can get kind of petulant and people could get nitpicky, but the answer is only one club. If you look into the histories, the answer can only be one club. If you want to get more technical, you can turn it into something else. But the question I'm asking, there is only one answer, okay? What club has the most flags if you include total state footy and AFL from the AFL strategy? So what club has the most flags if you include the total flags won in state footy and AFL, and that isn't including state footy after the AFL started, because I know clubs will be winning flags after the AFL and state footy. They don't count as far as I'm concerned, but we can give the answers for all of that. I've got it all wrote down for that. If you want to say AFL footy on its own, there's only one club as well, and they're quite convincing in that as well. But this isn't just only AFL flags, because a lot of people will go, well, VFL was a better competition. Irrelevant. Doesn't matter what the better competition was, whether it was VFL, SANFL, wherever state you played, is irrelevant in that sense. What was better? It doesn't matter the competition. Suns. Good answer. Okay. Number 6 then. Quite a lot of people knowing the answer by the looks of it to question number 5, so that's pretty good. Yeah. Question number 6. How many all Australian teams did Wayne Carey get into? How many times did Wayne Carey get picked for the All Australian team? How many all Australians did Wayne Carey get? So there's 4, there's 5. Not as many people confidently answering this one. No Google, please. No Google, please. This player is considered by many as the greatest ever Aussie rules player of all time. Whether or not that's your opinion or view, there's no denying this guy, whether you like him as a human being or not, for his off-the-field antics or the way he behaved outside of footy. One thing that cannot be denied is this guy was an incredible footy player. All right, so we'll fling the page around now to how many, question number 7, sorry. 5, 5, 5. A lot of people saying 5. All right. This is quite a difficult question, number 7. And I'll give you a little bit of time to think about it, because you're not just going to go boom unless you actually know the answer, which is fair dues to you. That's pretty cool. How many grounds are used in the AFL? AFL only. How many grounds are used in the AFL? And that's for right now in 2020. Hi, Dan, you're late. What size was your pizza, Dan? You said you were only eating pizza and you're only joining now. We're on question number 7. You're 13 minutes late. And it was actually me and you that decided what time to start. So I'll repeat question number 7. How many grounds are used in the AFL? How many grounds? It was just a wee pizza. You're a very slow eater then. Very, very slow eater. How many grounds are used in the AFL? And that's for 2020. So we've got 15, maybe 25, 20, 15, 12, 15, 16, 12, 14, 12. A lot of people saying 12 then. There's actually, it could be quite a trick question. I never actually wrote down, don't say nothing. Friends, don't say nothing. You know the answer. Yeah. So we've got quite a difference in answers there, which shows you it's actually a difficult enough question.
Some people are close.
Some people are close. I've not seen many that's got it right, though.
I have seen one that's got
it. I've seen a couple. That's giving away the answer, maybe by you saying that, because I'll be like, oh, let me see. Yeah. Right, so I'll explain later on when I give out the answers why that could have been even more difficult. Oh, there's somebody came out with a good answer there. Good, quite an educated guess for a few people there. So anyway, we'll go on to 8 now. We've passed that question. Who is the highest paid player in the AFL? This is actually quite difficult to find an answer for. I thought of the question before I actually got the answer. And when I looked up the answer, it was quite difficult to get exact figures, probably because not everybody's wages are in the public domain. But who is the highest paid player in the AFL? If you can give me a rough kind of idea of what their annual salary is, that would be fantastic. There's quite a few folks saying Buddy Franklin. There's quite a few folks saying Dustin Martin. Hi, Shane. How's it going? We're 8 questions into the quiz, but don't worry about it. Not Buddy. Somebody said not Buddy. Somebody's actually went as far as to say the salary Dusty's on, which is quite good. That's Cardman. Sammy, 1.5 million Dusty, quite good. 10 million deal over 9 years. So if you can work out the mathematics as what that is for the annual salary, then you'll kind of get your answer then. But who is the highest paid player in the AFL? That was question number 8. This might be easy for some, but I want the city or the town, all right? I want the city or the town, not the state, all right? If you get the state, I'll give you a little bit of a thumbs up to this one. Where was Jason Dunstall born? Chief, where was Jason Dunstall born? What town or city? a couple of answers coming in already. So that question was, where was Jason Dunstall born? It's not as easy as you think, is it? I was actually trying to do Dermot Brereton for this question, and I could not find the town at all. All it said was that he was born in Australia. Dermot Brereton was not an easy person to find. I'm going to guess Dermot Brereton was Melbourne, but that's not the question. That's why I changed the question. Somebody's put Antarctic because he's like built like a yeti, like a hairy yeti, Jason Dunstall. So it possibly was the Antarctic, mate. But where was he born? What town or city? That's okay. That was question number 9. Right. This is a bonus point question again, right? Who are the 6 youngest clubs in order of youngest to oldest in the AFL? AFL only, not including clubs that are like international clubs. This is just the AFL teams in. So who are the six youngest clubs in order of youngest to older? Obviously not oldest, but older. All right. For the bonus point, if you can give me the teams in order and the year. All right. Probably safer writing that down on paper. Once I give the answers, you can tell me if you got it right or not. Dermy is from Frankston. Where is Frankston? Is it a town outside Melbourne? I'm honestly not too sure where Frankston is. You'd have to help me with that one. Carmen says GWS, Gold Coast Suns, Port Adelaide, Fremantle, Adelaide, West Coast. Not a bad guess, mate. Port Adelaide are a 150-year-old club in terms of recognised by the AFL. So I get where you're coming from with that. We're not going to go by the state footy team that they've currently going as well right now. We're going to go by, obviously, where if you actually look up the history of the clubs, they won't be recognised as a new club. If you include inclusion into the AFL, I mean, if that makes sense. So, do you want me to repeat the question for anyone? Who are the 6 youngest clubs in order of youngest to older? All right, so that was question number 10. 3 questions left then. All right, so I'm just looking at your answers there. Yeah, maybe I need to clarify the question. There's a lot of people saying 97 was Port's first year. I'm talking about the year the club was established, not when they were included into the league, if that makes sense to you. So the question should probably be in order of establishment, youngest clubs. I'll give you more time on that one before I jump into the next question then. So in terms of when the clubs were established, who are the 6 youngest clubs in order of youngest to older? All right? Because I know there's maybe clubs that have came into the AFL later than other clubs, but that's not necessarily giving you a true answer and what year they were established. Hopefully that clarifies the question. So we'll go on to question number 11 now. Who kicked the last goal in the 2018 Grand Final? What player kicked the last goal in the 2018 Grand Final? Straight away, somebody's in with an answer. Boom! There you go. Boom! 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 Everybody knows this. We'll go on to the next question then. There's quite a lot of people. I've removed that Grand Final from my memory. I know why, and I know if you know the answer to this question, you'll remove it from your memory there. Was it possibly the winning goal by any chance? Did this goal win the game? Possibly. This last goal. Okay, we're going to question number 12. There's an absolute landslide in answers here. Not surprising, there's West Coast Eagles fans, boom, with this answer. No surprise at all. Okay, that was question number 11. Question number 12. How many AFL teams did Barry Hall play for? 1 bonus point if you can name them all. How many AFL teams did Barry Hall play for? Bonus point if you can name them all. But we'll name them all in order, please. Name them all in order for the bonus point. Brains. A lot of people. You can shut the doors. And you can come back if you want. Shut the doors because I don't want to wake anyone up. Loads of different answers. Quite interesting to see some of the answers. Some of them are maybe the right clubs, but not necessarily in the right order. All right, so we'll go on to question number 13, which is unlucky for some. Unlucky 13. Bonus question. Just wanted to throw it out there. I was going to do 12 questions, but I've done 13 for a bit of fun. Unlucky for some. What team is better looking out of Collingwood and the Western Bulldogs? What team is better looking out of Collingwood and the Western Bulldogs? Unlucky for some. Question number 13 for a bit of fun. I would be absolutely stunned if not everyone got this right. Oh my lord. Oh, we're getting quite a mixed bag. Brilliant. Quite a mixed bag of answers there. I was expecting it to just go with a one team. Minus obviously the people who support the other team. Yeah, I agree with one of the Jonty Eves' pretty accurate assessment of the teams and reasoning for the answer. So that concludes the quiz. I hope you've enjoyed it. We'll go over the questions and answers now then. Right. So question number 1 then, right, was how many career goals did Tony Plugger Lockett score? The answer, if you said this, is 1,360. 1,360. Well done if you got that answer right. That was how many career goals did Tony Plugger Lockett score? What player, question number 2, what player scored the most goals in one game? What player scored the most goals in one game? And it was Fred Fanning with 18 for Melbourne Football Club, the Demons. Fred Fanning scored 18 in one game. I think Jason Dunstall almost did it. He gets 17.5 that day. So he could have actually beat it, but he got 5 behinds. So arguably, well, Fred Fanning still beats it on points alone. But Fred Fanning with 18, Jason Dunstall with 17.5, which is an incredible amount of goals. I'm not too sure if he knew that he was on for the record that day either. I think I seen him talking about it, saying he didn't know that he was actually on for beating the record. But 7 behinds, or 5 behinds, 17 goals and 5 behinds, sorry, is incredible as well. Okay, so question number 3 was name the top 5 clubs in order of most memberships sold in 2019. I'll go through them from top club down to 5th place, and I'll give you the numbers of memberships they sold. All right. Okay, so Richmond, number 1 with 103,358. The Eagles were second place with 90,445. Collingwood third, 85,226. Essendon fourth, 84,2 81,237, and Hawthorn in 5th place with 81,211. So that was the top 5. Richmond, Eagles, Collingwood, Essendon and Hawthorn. And I know 2020, a lot of the numbers jumped up quite significantly, particularly the like of Carlton jumped up quite significantly in membership sales. They're aiming to surpass 75,000 this year. I think they sold in around 64,000 last year. So they're aiming to jump massively. The problem being I can't see 75,000 being reached now for the like of Carlton because of the current situation with the coronavirus. So I'd imagine most memberships either stopping being sold or very much slowing down. But I'd imagine some of those teams haven't changed for 2020. I'm not too sure. It's not out yet. Okay, so who was the captain of the Brisbane Lions three-peat years when they won the three-peat? Who was the captain? And the answer was Michael Voss. That was 01, 02 and 03. Michael Voss was the captain. And a lot of you answered that question rapid. You got the answer very, very quickly. Well done to everyone who got Michael Voss. Okay, what club has the most flags if you include total state footy flags and AFL flags? And the answer was Port Adelaide. Port Adelaide with 35 or 37. Mirror Girl, thanks very much, Diane. Brilliant. Just seen the donation coming in there. Diane, thank you so much again. Thanks for all your work, putting the quiz together. Great work. Really, honestly, it's my pleasure. It's just a bit of fun, and that really does mean a lot that you've donated that. Thank you so much. We'll just go over the answer quickly then for 5. It was Port Adelaide. The answer is 35. I'm going to say it was 35. But it could be 37, depending on how technical you want to get, depending on the inclusion of Port Adelaide's entry to the AFL and the SANFL flags one thereafter. I hope that actually clears up quite a few people's answer to youngest clubs. If you include they're an older club than their inclusion into the AFL. That's what I was getting at. So Port Adelaide have won 35 or 37. Flags altogether in state footy and AFL, but the club with the most AFL flags is Hawthorn by 5, which is incredible number. And second place would have been the West Coast Eagles. Bearing in mind they're quite a young club, though, the West Coast Eagles. They got 4 AFL premierships. That's quite an achievement. Well done to them. But the answer I was looking for was Port Adelaide. 37, a lot of people are saying. It just depends on what way you want to do it. If you want to include the flags that they've won after they've been included into the AFL, which if I was being technical here, I wouldn't. I would say 35. But it's entirely up to yourself and way you want to look at it. How many question number 6. How many All-Australian teams did Wayne Carey get into? The answer was 7. 7 All-Australian teams Wayne Carey got into. And this is what I was getting at. By some, he is regarded as the greatest ever player in Aussie rules history. He's certainly up there. He's certainly up in the top 3 for me for his individual accolades. What a footy player this man was. Regardless of what you think of him as a human being, concentrating on just what he did for the sport of Aussie rules, an incredible player. He got into 7 All-Australian teams, 93 to 96. That was 94, 95, 90, 93, 94, 95, 96, 98, 99 and 2000. He never got into the 97. Don't know why that was. I think that was probably the year he never played footy because of sort of off-the-field antics. I'd have to look into that. I'm pretty much guessing that's what the answer would be there. So 7 All-Australian teams he got into. Wayne Carey. Okay, how many grounds are used in the AFL? That's grounds that you're used in the AFL, not in Australian rules football, whether it's state football, just in the AFL. How many grounds do they use? And the answer was 16. Some people said 15. Then someone corrected their answer, which they were correct to do so. And that is the stadium, I think it's in Shanghai in China, that Port Adelaide use annually. So that's the 16th ground. Don't ask me to name them all. If you write them all down, I never wrote them down, but it's actually 16. If you look at it through the AFL sites, it's 16 that they're using. Well done, Carmen. You did. I think did you say 15, mate? And then you changed it to 16 because you remembered China. Well done. I think we'll probably see if the idea of, I think it's Essendon and GWS are looking to possibly play a game. Maybe that's the Giants in Essendon, is it? Giants in Essendon are possibly looking into playing in California, so that will possibly take that number to 17. But as it stands right now, we're on 16. So well done if you got that. Who is the highest paid player in the AFL? This is difficult to get an answer for. I did stress that when I wrote the question down, I never had the answer. So it's really difficult to split it between these two players. They both come up on pretty much the same. They probably are on the same salary. It's probably capped at this. The answer that I've got, a lot of people put Buddy Franklin, but I think these two guys have actually surpassed Buddy Franklin. He was one of the first players in the $1 million club annual wages. It's Nat Fyfe and Dustin Martin, who are $1.2 million plus. They're going just a little bit more. I don't know what, when I say a little bit, it could be a few thousand, but $1.2 million plus dollars annually. Nat Fyfe and Dustin Martin are bringing in. It's joint there. So it's Dustin Martin and Nat Fyfe. You're right with both of them. It doesn't actually break down the exact figure, so I can't give you an exact answer. So apologies for that. I did write down the question before I got an individual answer. So where was Jason Dunstall born? If you got the town or city, this is what I was looking for. It was Brisbane in Queensland. I'll give you half a point if you mentioned Queensland. A lot of people thought Adelaide, which was quite interesting. I actually was going to say Dermot Brereton. Where was he born? But I couldn't find the town or city. I can't remember where people told me he was born now. But Dermot Brereton, where he was born, was the question I was going to ask. But it was only coming up Australia. I could not find the city he was born. So I changed it to Dunstall, and it was Brisbane, Queensland. Well done, Carmen. 7 out of 9. You're doing well. Michael Stanton, Nat Fyfe is on 1.4 from what you know. So maybe Dusty and him's on the same. It doesn't. When I was looking into it, if Fyfe's the right answer, then apologies. When I was looking for it, I could only get 1.2 million. It did say in the answer though for your Nat Fyfe one there that it was 1.2 million plus, whether or not that's add-ons for bonuses for games played in a season or goals scored. I don't know, or points. Maybe it puts that annual salary up. I'm not 100% how that works, but 1.2 million plus was the answer I was getting. Kings of Glasgow, Rangers Football Club. Well done, mate. Cheers, Johnny. Okay, somebody's writing their sport. Somebody try to have a bit of NRL banter with AFL there. Your comments away, but anyway, I'll not get into that now. I'm still giving the answers for my quiz. We'll have a little bit of banter after the quiz. So that was Jason Dunstall, was born in Queensland. Brisbane, Queensland, sorry. Right, so number 10. Who was the sixth clubs in terms of established, the year they were established? Who are the 6 youngest clubs in order of youngest to older in terms of establishment? And they were GWS, youngest, 2009, but they weren't included. I think it was 2012 possibly into the AFL. So GWS was the youngest, 2009. Gold Coast Suns also 2009, but they were included actually into the league. So I've put it in that order because they got included because it wasn't much to break them up there. But GWS actually are the youngest. GWS 2009, Gold Coast Suns 2009, Brisbane Lions, obviously they merged between our 2 clubs, Brisbane Bears and my head went blank there. So it was the Brisbane Lions were 1996, Fremantle 95, Adelaide Crows 1990. This is where people got it wrong because they were talking about inclusion. Crows were actually included into the AFL before Port Adelaide, but Port Adelaide are 150 years old this year. The Crows were actually established 1990. And West Coast Eagles 1986. So if you got the Fitzroy, my head went blank there because I was thinking of the dates there. So it was Fitzroy and Brisbane Bears merged to make the Brisbane Lions in 1996. So again, in order from youngest to older, GWS 2009, Gold Coast Suns 2009, Brisbane Lions 96, Fremantle 95, Crows 90, and West Coast Eagles 86. So if you've got that right, congratulations. If you changed it from Port and you got the answer to the Crows answer, then as long as you've got your answer wrote down and you know what you've said, you're right as far as I'm concerned. I'm not going to get technical with changing of answers. As long as you've got the right answers afterwards. So well done to you. 8 out of 10, Robert, mate. Well done. Ewan, 7 out of 10. Good answer. Good answers. 8 out of 10. Peter Walsh, the prize is a year's supply of Fosters. Nobody wants the prize then, I'd imagine. Actual fact, somebody told me Fosters has been sold out with all this panic buying that's going on in the shops. Are you in Belfast? I'm in Armagh City, mate. Armagh City, Belfast, about 40 minutes up the motorway from me. So we're near Belfast. Like, I used to work up in Belfast for 2 years, but I'm in Armagh City now. For about 12 years in Armagh City. About 14 years and I've been living in Northern Ireland now, and the time has flew in. So thanks for that, mate. So that was question number 10. Question number 11, who kicked the last goal in the 2018 Grand Final, which was actually the winning goal in the 2018 Grand Final? West Coast Eagles versus Collingwood. West Coast Eagles won by 5 points. They almost scored another, but it was a behind. When they scored, they went 4 points in front of Collingwood, and then obviously with a behind straight after it, they won by 5. It was, of course, Dom Sheed. Absolutely everybody was like, Sheed. So I didn't need to give you the answer there. You knew the answer. The umpire scored the winning goal. Somebody's put in there. 8 out of 11, great work. 9 out of 11, great work, everyone. Well done. How many AFL teams did Barry Hall play for? 1 bonus point for putting them in, giving me the names of the teams and in the correct order. The answer was 3. St Kilda, Swans, Bulldogs. St Kilda, Swans and Bulldogs were the answers. So it was 3 teams, St Kilda, Swans and Bulldogs for Barry Hall. Last question, and it has to be answered the same way as me. And if you want to get really, really technical as to why, you'll get a bonus point. All right? Okay. What team is better looking, Collingwood or the Western Bulldogs? Now, if you answered this question with Collingwood, you have to take a point off the scores that you've already got. You've got to minus yourself a point if you've answered this Collingwood, because it's an absolutely ridiculous answer to be given. So if you've answered Collingwood, take a point off. If you've answered Western Bulldogs, put a point on. But if you can also explain to me why Western Bulldogs are a better looking team than Collingwood, you get a bonus point. My reason for saying Western Bulldogs are, well, obviously clearly the better looking football team, is because they have all of their own teeth. They have all of their own teeth. Colgate, Aquafresh, whatever. They don't just panic buy this in times of the coronavirus. They buy it all year round. And if you're a Collingwood fan, you probably don't need to panic buy toothpaste anyway, because you've either got no teeth to brush or you've got dentures. And actually, the way you clean your dentures is by taking them out at night and putting them in a glass beside your bed and sterilize them. So there you go. There you have it. There you have it, everyone. And for any Collingwood fans out there who are offended by that joke, only a bit of fun, everyone. Don't take it too personally. But if you got minus a point for putting Collingwood, you get what you deserve. Well done, mate. Teeth gets you 12 out of 13. Teeth in a jar. Well, look, there's no panic buying of toothpaste given the coronavirus outbreak and the panic buying that has followed since the outbreak, like supplies being sold. Obviously, Western Bulldogs players and supporters have brushed their teeth twice a day, 365 days a year, 366 days a year this year with the leap year. All the time they do it twice a year. But Collingwood, of course, have never brushed their teeth. So when they panic buy, there's no sense in them buying any toothpaste, as I've said, because they've no teeth to brush. So actually what you're seeing is panic buying from Collingwood supporters for their dentures. And that's for the Collingwood fans that have a little bit of class, that they've went and got themselves dentures in the first place. A lot of them haven't even bothered getting dentures, which is quite embarrassing, to tell you the truth. Anyway, that concludes the questions and answers of the quiz. Just a bit of banter with Collingwood fans. I think Collingwood fans are good banter. Look, any Collingwood fan that I've came across over the year or so that I've been doing AFL videos, live streams, chats, all the social media pages that I have are really good laugh. They really do take the piss out themselves, and that's what it's all about. If you take it seriously, do you know what I mean? Come on, don't take it so serious. It's only a bit of fun. But most of the Collingwood fans are really good banter. They do take the piss out themselves as much as everybody else does, and that's where I give them credit, because that's what it's all about, being able to laugh at jokes and realise they're just jokes. So Carmen, I think you could be the overall winner, and as was it Shane says, you have won a year's supply of Foster's. Whether or not you want your prize is another story, but that is collect it at your local supermarket if they've any left. Yeah, all thumbs up to the live streams, greatly appreciated. The reason being, it does help the traffic, the algorithms on YouTube. My channel is getting hit hard right now, very, very hard. I'm a small channel, and so is my other channel, really small. And for some reason, smaller channels are being pounded off YouTube in terms of algorithms. So any little comment on videos, any thumbs up, improves the traffic on the video, improves the traffic on the channel, and actually helps YouTube use the algorithms, push your content out to a wider audience, which ultimately will help. See the like advertisement on videos as well. I rely on that there to save up the money for the Australia trip, and that's what's been hammered. So with Diane doing that donation on the live streams, absolutely fantastic. Diane's been with me for nearly about Mirror Girl from maybe first or second week really of doing AFL videos. And as I said way back, a lot of people say just another reactor, just another reaction video. It's not what I want to be. I appreciate that people like my reactions. I like doing reactions, but it's not what I want to be going forward. I would rather be an AFL podcasting channel. I would rather be an AFL channel like this, engaging with other AFL fans, Aussie rules fanatics like myself now. I love it. So I want to be doing my own stuff, my own videos, not just reacting. So to get up, it really will help me get away from just doing reactions. But the problem is, reactions are probably the only things that are drawing people to the channel. It is a small channel, as I say, and with this YouTube algorithm crisis that the smaller YouTube channels are facing, it's making my trip to the for the AFL thing look really difficult for next year. Actually, I don't know if you're here right now, mate, and I apologise because I never wrote your name down, and I want to write your name down. There was a man from Torquay in Australia who actually offered who actually offered to pay our flights down under for next year. He's a farmer in Torquay, and I want to thank you personally. I don't know if you're here. If you're here right now, let me know. But as I say, he actually offered to pay our flights because of the sort of video I put out about the coronavirus. Obviously, like, everybody has to stay safe and remain sane, being probably one of the most important things. Don't be panicking about the virus. The virus is worse than a lot of people realise. What's my opinion on it? A lot of people might... So a bit of banter going on here between people. I've seen it coming through. I'm not going to get involved in it. I'll let you tear lumps at each other in the comments. It's a bit of fun anyway, but I'm not going to take anything too personal today. Getting back to it, yes, certainly take precautions. Certainly be safe where you can. Do try and remain behind closed doors. I know a lot of people are getting up in arms about no footy being available to the supporters, games being played behind closed doors. If you look at Europe right now, no flights, everything's being suspended in and out of countries. People are saying this is just scaremongering, it's just fear-mongering. I'm actually starting to believe it isn't. It's drastic measures. It's drastic measures that the governments are now taking, because you've got to look at Italy. Italy is quite a progressive country economically and in terms of health, their health service, and it crippled them. It literally broke Italy. They're well on their way to 1,500 deaths in Italy. I would imagine that number will be surpassed by tomorrow. This is serious, everyone. Probably one of the worst viruses, if not the worst virus, since I think probably the Spanish flu in World War II. I know people with the coronavirus. I haven't mentioned that on anything. There's people local to me with it. Actually, people who I know and friends with have coronavirus, and it has been spread from them to other people, and from those other people, it's actually been spread to other people. And the numbers are absolutely inaccurate. If you say there's only 1,000 people that's contracted it, I would actually be looking at maybe timesing that number by 10. The reason being, so many people can't get tested. There is no test kits. There's also no testing at the weekend here where we are. You're being advised not to go to hospital. You're being advised to stay in behind closed doors. So anybody's saying it's scaremongering, you really need to think again. It's not scaremongering. No footy should be played at all, actually. I think either should be postponing AFL footy or looking at other ways to work with other sports such as cricket, all the other games and tournaments that are planned for next year. They need to work together. This is for people's health and safety comes before sport. As much as I love sport, we all love sport, and you don't want to hear me say this. This will seriously hammer my channel, what I'm saying, but I'm thinking of other people and people's health before I'm thinking of putting out videos on 2020 season. If the 2020 season doesn't go ahead and my channel suffers when I'm doing AFL content, so be it. I would rather people were safe. Look, there's loads of sports stars now being contracting the virus, which you've got to remember, they're all drinking out the same bottles as each other. They're all in the same changing rooms as each other. We've got to look at put their health and their family members or close friends' health first before any sport. So you've got test kits in Australia. People are saying, I don't know how many of you have got access to the test kit though. Here in the UK, we're on limited supply of test kits. So the people actually being tested and the numbers that you're seeing are based on the people that are being tested. So I would imagine that number is a good 10 times more than what people believe. So Ewan, coronavirus is buffled flu. It is only dangerous for old people and self-isolate if you get it. Wait till a cure. But the reason why I'm saying what I'm saying, mate, is it's a lot worse than people are realising. It is spreading very, very quickly. I know people with it. I know people who have got it from them. I actually know of now community cases here and where I live where it's been spread from someone who wasn't one of the initial people. So it's community spreading now. What do you do? Do you put sport before? Do you put sport and the players' lives? You know, just for our own entertainment. I don't see how it's entertainment watching your team playing with no fans in the ground. Anyway, like our football season, our soccer season here is null and void nearly. It's probably going to be completely cancelled. The only concern that people's got is who's going to be champions. So, as I say, most sports around the world have actually just stopped. So it's quite interesting to see AFL and NRL digging their heels in. And no, Australia's maybe slower to get crisis levels in terms of numbers that you know of. But I would imagine in the next day or two, obviously they're grounding flights in and out of the country now. They're taking the next steps of saying no groups of over 500 people. I'd imagine that they're going to come to the decision that the AFL footy season will stop, not necessarily be completely cancelled, but stop until we're well clear of any risks of the virus spreading. And we've actually been told here in the UK, our numbers are getting bigger and bigger, but it's not going to spike to peak numbers till about May. So we've got about a good month and a half of the numbers growing and growing and growing until they reach their peak. And some people, some actual experts believe that the virus might not be kind of controlled until around September. So where does that leave us in terms of sport? So that's just what I'm saying on it anyway. Everything's up in the air. Sports secondary, people's health first. That's where the way we've all got to look at it. I don't buy the whole argument of everybody's got somebody elderly in their family or friends, family who are vulnerable. We've all got people who maybe have underlying health issues in their family or who we know. So we've got to act responsibly for them, not because we won't die, but for spreading it. See everybody that's going, and that's the way I'm looking at it. But I know it's a tough time. It's a tough time. I want footy to go ahead, but I only want it to go ahead if people are safe. That's all I'm saying. I actually have reacted as Notorious Jaden react to rugby's greatest haka ever. I actually have reacted to that. It should still be available. If you go through my list of reactions, I've done loads of rugby reactions in terms of hakas. Something I really, really like. If you want to check that out. Somebody's saying, just going to read your comments quickly before I call this live stream to an end. I'm only putting my opinion in and what I know. I'm not actually saying to everybody else, this is what should happen. I just think that from what we know here, from what we're experiencing in the UK in terms of our sports, in terms of the crisis that's happening in here, I'm actually happy that they're looking at cancelling the football season, soccer season. For all clubs, they've actually cancelled all European competitions, so there's no Champions League in the soccer. Well, the biggest soccer competition, individual competition in the world is obviously the Champions League. It's been cancelled. The second biggest being the Europa League. It's been cancelled, and then obviously the English Premier League, we're not too sure, which is the highest paid league in the world in terms of soccer. It's probably going to end up cancelled, so that's all I know. Anyway, just reading your comments. I'm going to call the stream to an end. I know, look, mate, there's a lot of, when you look at rated terra firma, I absolutely agree with your last statement. Shutting down actually could possibly mean getting back to sports earlier because it's actually going to control the spread and possibly stop it quicker than constantly putting in crappy little measures. Little measures aren't going to work. You have to go bold and go big. As far as I'm concerned, that's the way I look at it, in order to stop the spread, to slow and stop the spread. And that's what's happened in Italy, and it's working. It's actually starting to work. So that's the way I agree with that comment the most out of everyone so far. But we're not making the decision, so it doesn't really matter what we think, I suppose. Jonty Evans, do you like Adelaide Crows? I'm a Western Bulldogs man, mate. Thanks very much. Red, white, and blue. I know you're a Rangers man, so. Oh, Sam McGrath, $5. Love your attitude, Donny. Go Dogs. Absolutely outstanding. That's Diane and Sam. Thank you so much for your kind donations this afternoon for you. It's still morning here for me. 5 to 9 in the morning. We're at So thanks very much. Good afternoon or evening to you all. John, couldn't agree more. Cavalier Crane Masters, yes, Don. A bit of piss because the momentum Man United were gathering momentum. I actually agree with you. There's a lot of clubs now that are probably a wee bit annoyed, but obviously, if you look at what I don't know if many of you know Jurgen Klopp. He's the manager right now of Liverpool. Liverpool are like 20 odd points clear, and he says, look, he doesn't care about trophies or anything. All he cares about is stopping one person dying from it all. So there you go. Cheers, Shane, mate. Cheers. Thanks to Aaron. Thanks everyone. I'm gonna call it an end to the live stream now. I will do more quizzes because do you know something? We might not have an awful lot of footy stuff to talk about in the next few weeks or so. We'll have to wait and see what happens, but I'll certainly try my hardest to put out a lot more AFL content, whether that's quizzes or just general chat or videos, reactions. Obviously will continue as much as I like doing them. Obviously, I've told you how I want I see the channel going in the future. I will continue to do them for everyone because it's a bit of fun. It's a bit of fun for me doing them, learning about new players and stuff. So I'll try my hardest to put out. Basically, I'll try my hardest to put out as much AFL content, even if that means there is no live AFL happening for everyone. We're all in the same boat here. It's the uncertainty. We don't know what's going to happen. Tomorrow could be a different decision from today, from the AFL. I'd imagine it will be. The Australian government's obviously tightening their rules and regulations surrounding everything. So I'd imagine sport will do the same in the next couple of days. But we'll just have to play it by ear and see what they do. If they do play behind closed doors, great. We'll have loads of content to talk about in footy terms of current footy, which will be fine. I'll continuously do that as well. Thanks very much, everyone, for everyone that joined the live stream. Really do appreciate it for the donations. Thank you so much. Just for the banter, brilliant. And if you did well in the quiz, well done to you. Stay tuned for more of them. Maybe next week, maybe next Sunday. We'll see. I'll have to think about a day that best suits everyone. Cheers, everyone, and I'll see you all soon. Don't forget our AFL Facebook page, the Don Fathers AFL group on Facebook. If you want to join that, you will be accepted. I've got Dylan, who's working with me on the page, who will accept you. If I don't see it, he'll accept you straight away as well. I've not actually seen him on the live stream here today, but yeah, he'll do that for you as well. Thanks very much, everyone, and I'll see you all soon. Goodbye.